weakling! Do you want to be the strongest barbarian in the lands?
Yeah!
Well, have we got a tier ranking for you? 6 barbarian subclasses ranked.
No animals were harmed in the making of this video.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women. That is good.
So, let's begin, mighty barbarians. What subclass will you choose? We will help you decide. My name is Grognard, the Ancient.
And I'm Gurg.
And together, we will tier rank all 7 subclasses, which is exactly what...
7th is a bonus.
It's a bonus just for you to be strong. All right, the first is Barbarian, Path of the Ancestral Guardian. You get all these subclasses at level 3 for Barbarian. All right, and this one is a protector.
Yes.
So you want to be in the front lines, and you're going to be tanking a lot of damage with this one. So let's talk about Ancestral Guardian. This is a class that's going to protect your teammates, right? You can make it so enemies attack your teammates at disadvantage, and they have to target you. You have a Spirit Shield that makes it so you can reduce the damage done to your teammates. And you get free spells like Augury, Clairvoyance, and you get an ability called Vengeful Ancestors, which makes it so that shielding you can do to your teammates also damages the enemies. So, what do you think about this class?
I think it's interesting. Like a support barbarian is interesting take. It's not really my vibe, if I'm being entirely honest. This doesn't get the highest ranking of the other options on the list for me, because I think that there are just classes that do the protection better.
That's true. And some of the subclasses get them at higher levels, different levels. The abilities this gets. For like a 3rd level, like low level campaign, this is pretty good. I think it has, it makes you the focus as a tank on the battlefield if that's what you want. But otherwise, it's pretty limited in scope, as in that's all you do until like much higher levels. So I would probably...
at higher levels, it does nothing because monsters attacking at disadvantage doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Yeah, and also doing 2d6 damage to a monster in response at 14th level, it's pretty negligible. So overall, I'd give this class probably like a C+. Oh,
I'm giving it a D.
You're giving it a D? Okay. All right. Well, there we go. All right, Strong Barbarian Warriors, let's move on to the next one. And we have Path of the Battle Rager.
Battle Rager.
Okay, so this is really cool. Still a little limited in scope, but I think pretty fun. So this is restricted to dwarves only, so that could be a knockoff on points.
But, per usual, talk to your dungeon master if they want you to be able to do this or not. Because I don't see any reason, based off of having read it, that you can't have this spiked, cool dwarven armor and not be a dwarf.
That's true. In addition, that's only for, like, if you're playing, like, the absolute lore essential Forgotten Realms. If you're doing, your DM is running their own Forgotten Realms or their own campaign, you should be good to go. So also dwarves are awesome. So if you want to play a dwarf, this could be a good way to do it.
There's no reason you can't play a dwarf barbarian.
So you get spiked armor, which isn't that good, and you have to specifically wear it. It's only 14 AC, so it kind of get overshadowed over time.
Uses a bonus action to make one melee weapon attack with your armor with the spikes against a target within 5 feet of you.
Yeah. So low level, you get an extra bonus attack. Right,
so 1d4 piercing damage.
Yeah, plus your rage and stuff. So I would say that if you have no other way to utilize bonus action at low levels,
and as we know, barbarians don't have a lot to do with bonus actions. So
that's that could be a good upside if you're not dual wielding, for example, right? Also, this is kind of focused on grappling. So when you do grapple, you do 3 piercing damage. It doesn't scale at all, which is a little bit terrible, I think.
We just need to make these abilities scalable. I hope that in the next rendition that we just focus on that, because all of these abilities are really cool, but I think that they should be scalable.
I agree, and I think they're starting to do that, right? You can do things proficiency times a day. So they need to go back and kind of rework these a little bit for the next player's handbook. So you also get some hit points back when you are doing reckless attack, which you do a lot as a barbarian to get advantage. You can take a dash action, and again at 14th level, they take 3 damage. If someone hits you in response, I guess they hit your armor, which is also very pathetic.
That's so
overall, overall, this is okay. Like, not even that great for a grapple build.
This is F tier for me, actually. This is worse than the other one. This is worse than the other one.
Yeah, for like very low level campaigns, you get the free bonus action, it's okay. You can kind of focus a little bit on...
Or if you work with your DM and make it better.
Yeah, make it scale, that could be okay. You give it, what, an F tier? I'd give it like a D+. Oh, at low levels, at higher levels, level. Yeah, Barbarian farts. Barbarian farts.
Big Barbarian.
Okay, so next one on the list is Path of the Beast. Now this is a newer one. Really cool aesthetic here. You kind of turn into monsters. You could have like descendancy from lycanthropes, so work with druids. You could be kind of part fae.
Yeah, with
pretty cool.
Just starting with flavor, one of my favorite flavors.
Absolutely.
I think it really takes on the vision of what a barbarian can be, and I think it elevates it. I mean, because the totem warrior does this to an extent, but like to have it physically be that you have a bite or claws or a tail attack, I think it's just incredible.
Yeah, it's chef's kiss. So, and it's also you have a lot of very dynamic in this class, and you have a lot of ways to go beyond just kind of like tanking, right? Face tanking, like Ancestral Guardians would do. So you do, when you transform, well, you kind of do. When you rage, you can either get a bite, a claw, or a tail. Your choice every time you rage. Those let you do things like gain hit points back, do an extra attack. You can do almost like a shield spell with a tail. You get D8 as a reaction to your AC. At higher levels, you can swim, you can climb, you have faster jumps, whatever it is. Yeah.
Your natural weapons gain additional.
Bonuses. Yeah, that's right. They override. They become
magical.
Yeah, so you can override without needing any special magic items.
So you can build a barbarian that's unarmed.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And just go all out with claws and bites.
I don't know if I would. But you could. I think it's always good to have a trusty weapon by your side if it's a possibility. But I mean, you can.
One thing that's cool is about the claws too. It only requires one hand, so you can have like a battle axe in one hand and claws also. So you really get that bestial flavor.
Yeah.
Infectious Fury at 10th level. You do extra damage, extra psychic damage, which is really great. Very poorly resisted by most enemies. And
finally, I don't know why they chose psychic damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It doesn't. That's my only complaint. Flavor-wise, it's a little odd.
It's powerful, but odd.
It's powerful, but odd.
And then at 14th level, if you get that high, you do have a really powerful ability that works on your whole team, where they kind of get your rage benefits, and you get a bunch of temporary hit points for everyone that accepts that. So you're looking at maybe in a regular party getting like 30, 40 temporary hit points just using your rage.
It's pretty wild.
And everyone gets extra bonus damage. Really strong from start to finish, I think. Lots of great ways to build it. Very unique, a very good hybrid class. So I don't know. I would definitely give this an A, I think.
I think A works for me.
Yeah? Okay.
I was thinking A as well.
So Barbarian, Path of the Beast. Next. Path of the Berserker. This is very one note, but also pretty strong, I think, depending on what you want to do.
It does what it does. It's effective.
With downsides, though, not a lot of classes have this anymore, where you do a thing and you kind of get penalized for it later.
True.
So when you
mindless rage.
Yeah, when you frenzy, you get an extra your full attack, right, as a bonus action. But when your rage ends, you get one level of exhaustion, which is pretty damning, I think.
Especially for a barbarian.
Yeah. It requires to have a cleric at higher level to cast Lesser Restoration or spend multiple days resting.
Yeah, it's a pretty big downside.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big downside.
But it is a lot of like burst damage if you really need it. You also are immune to Charmed and Frightened, which is barbarians are very susceptible to those things. You also get Intimidating Presence, kind of like dragons do, right? You can fear enemies or fear like somebody you're interacting with, an NPC.
Which is cool flavor, but also I the fear frightened condition, I think that with the exception outside of like a real monster, it just never usually makes that much sense to me. I'm usually gonna have people roll for it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like use their intimidation. I think that's just a more. It depends on what you say.
Yeah.
It depends on what you say.
Yeah, instead of just saying, I use an ability and you're now intimidated.
You're now frightened.
So
I'm just not a fan of it.
Always roleplay. You can use it in combat. It uses your whole action and somebody just hits them and they're out of the frightened, or you hit them again, they're out of the frightened with your extra attack. And the 14th level ability, which is literally 14th level, you think it'd be so strong. Your reaction, you can use your reaction to make a melee attack, which is decent, but nothing like out of this world. So it's very...
You can get all of this stuff. The problem with the Barbarian at its core is that there is no ability in the class that does not incentivize you to multi-class. There's no ability that's like, oh my god, if I get to 20th level, this is gonna really be better than if I just multi-classed along the way. And you can get most of these things as a multi-class.
Dipping through fighter, rogue, whatever, which is going to be much more potent. Unfortunately, they don't really incentivize you to go to 14th level because a lot of these 14th levels abilities are kind of pretty mid. So,
versus for 14th level with other classes, you have things that are like, oh, this is a tough decision. So that's my biggest complaint with the Barbarians, and I want to see them more ragey.
Yeah, very good point. So
let us know what you think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And so in this case, the Berserker, very one note for a one shot. Maybe you could rate it a little higher. Otherwise, I mean, the Frenzy giving you exhaustion is really heavy. I get like C- at best.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay. All right, so next, Path of the Storm Herald. This is interesting, kind of versatile, but also I think pretty weak. Because the effects you do are literally, again, they don't scale. So you have like Storm Aura, which is pretty cool. I mean, you have really cool flavor, like when you can be a Storm Aura of the desert, of the sea, of the tundra. So you can really take on those characteristics, whether that's like physical appearance or you can expand on those in role play or like visual aspects. Yeah. But they do like 2 damage, 3 damage, and they increase a little bit. But it's only when you rage, and I think it's just very minimal.
Hot take.
Yeah.
I know that we're going to get to one of these, in the Wild Magic one.
Mm-hmm.
I see very little reason that Barbarians shouldn't have access to some sort of basic magic.
Oh, interesting.
I don't see why it has to be a restriction.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, just like with a Druid, you can limit it so that, like, you can do less things while you're raging, but I don't see why... Because the Wild Magic Barbarian, which we will get to in a minute,
mm-hmm.
is also pretty weak sauce. So I don't see any reason why in the next iteration of Barbarians they can't have some primal, traditional, ancestral magic
mm-hmm.
that's not just a flavor, but it's actually like a spell list. Why not?
Interesting. Yeah, like a green flame blade, but like based on your primal fury, rage, ancestry. Yeah, for sure.
I think it's very limiting and it's not fair.
And so what they're doing here is they're kind of trying to give you like spell-like effects here, but they miss the mark, I think. Right?
Yeah, they have to either make these spell-like effects much better.
Yeah.
Or just give them access to magic.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of a asinine, in my opinion. Let us know what you
hot take. Yeah, let's know what you think about Barbarian.
So big hot take.
So some of these again are very specific to a campaign. For example, if you know you're going into like Avernus or going to Hell, maybe you want to take this, then you get fire damage resistance, and then later on you can kind of give that to your teammates at higher levels. So still though. It's not a very expansive class, I don't think.
What's our 14th level?
Yeah, 14th level. So the aura, I think, increases. You get things like they take more fire damage, or you can knock somebody down using your bonus action. So, but these are things like Thirsting Blade, for example. Warlock, I guess, is like 5th level, or not, whatever it is that you can knock down opponents. So,
or you can take a feat. That's the other thing. With Barbarians, you can accomplish most of the stuff through feats.
Yeah. So overall, really cool thematic flavor here. Not very potent, maybe good mark for newer players.
It's the mark. This is a C-.
C-. I give it like a C around there. Yeah, depending. Okay, great. So next, Path of the Totem Warrior.
This is objectively the best one.
This is great. So it's Player's Handbook, which is interesting because you find power level usually increases, so you go for more and more handbooks later on.
It really doesn't make any sense why because this is busted. I mean, this is the only class that I would say, Barbarian, if you want to play a Barbarian, if you want to be busted, you play a Totem.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, Bear Totem is just absolutely phenomenal.
With the second one being Wolf is the next best.
Which is really cool in a melee flavor team. So a Bear Barbarian, you get half damage from literally everything except psychic damage, and that causes the campaign to kind of like shift around you because you're DM, and you got to check like any forums, like Reddit, D&D forums, whatever it is. They're going to see like posts about how do I hurt my bear totem DM. I mean, it's so strong. It's a hallmark class here of Barbarian. So even like you said, Wolf is great. All your melee companions get advantage on all their attacks. It's just it's so strong, really especially for a PHB. Okay, and you can multi-class right after 3rd level if you want to and get like the best of the best there. And if you get higher here, you do get it enhances, the bear or the wolf or whatever, but doesn't make it like next level. So it doesn't make it like 7th level.
Any creature within 5 feet of you that's hostile to you has disadvantage on attack roll against you.
Which is what Spirit gets at level 3. But then you get everything just with being a bear barbarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's again, you're not incentivized to go to higher levels with this class. Which is my biggest complaint about it. But I mean, if you want to play a raw barbarian, or if you want to play a barbarian in general, and you're not as concerned about your flavor, or you get your flavor through a multi-class, then I would say you definitely want to go Totem because it's just insane.
Yeah,
it's just insane.
And speaking of flavor, there is actually a little flavor. I was reading this a bit earlier, which is when you adopt this path, right, you kind of gain visual features of the totem. So, for example, a bear might be more hairy, might be more bulky, things like that. So, an eagle might have like yellow eyes, right, or like kind of like eagle-looking eyes. So, but still, I mean, this is just S rank barbarian, I think.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing even really comes close.
Yeah.
Except for maybe the...
Well, let's see the next one here, which is Path of the Wild Magic. And this is a way to kind of get some magic into your Barbarian, sort of ish, right? As you do that, you get a Wild Magic Surge, kind of like Wild Magic Sorcerer in a way, right? When you rage, you roll a d8, and you can get all these effects, which are actually all relatively useful, I would say.
They're relatively useful. I don't know why it's a d8. Why can't it be more? I mean, people want more out of the Wild Magic Sorcerer. If you're going to add chaos.
Yeah.
They're all relatively useful, but I would rather have more, like, I would rather have a d20 or whatever's chosen, and have there be bad choices, because also bad choices are so much fun.
Oh, I think about that, like when you cast
so much fun
when you cast a fireball on yourself as Wild Magic Sorcerer. Yeah,
it's hilarious.
I wonder, because there's no downside to this, unlike Berserker Barbarian. It's all kind of upside. So, but again, the upsides can be cool at low level. You get the extra damage as you go. You can heal yourself. You can get some extra AC. You can make your the ground around you difficult terrain. So it's interesting stuff. It's good. Again, I wouldn't say it's as powerful as like getting resistance to everything, Barbarian, but it's cool thematically. You get a little bit of that magic flavor if you really want that you're Barbarian and you don't want a multi-class, or whatever.
I give this one a B.
Okay.
I think it's a solid B for me.
Really? Okay. I'd go.
Sorry, I know I'm.
No, you're good.
Jumping the gun.
I'd go a little bit. I
got
a little bit higher because you can kind of give yourself a D3, almost like bless. So it's sort of like all these like pseudo spell slot
B+.
things, and you can collective surge, which you can do too. Yeah, but still B+. Yeah, B+. I'd say for this. B maybe. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if you're interested in this. I'm telling you right now, if you're interested in this, you're gonna get bored with the Wild Surge really quickly.
That's what happened
and you're just gonna want to play a magic user.
Yeah, that happened in our campaign, honestly. Yeah, where it was kind of like, it eventually was so middling that, and they're all the same effects after a long time.
We ended up just boosting her.
I think so. Yeah. So maybe think about kind of like the Battle Rager. Maybe think about adding more to this. I've seen on many different forums and websites, places that enhance this D8 list to make it cooler or more effects, exactly what Kyle was saying. So,
and again, that can be negative effects too, because flavor.
Yeah, enjoy your roleplay. All right, and finally, Path to the Zealot, number 7. Here we go.
This is our bonus one, because Barbarians can't count.
All right, so this is a class which I think is absolutely pretty garbage fire bad at low levels, because all you get is...
so bad!
Yeah, you get like an extra d6 damage, which is okay. It's almost like a bonus action damage thing. That's fine. You can be resurrected without then needing to use spell component, on you. So it could be a little cheaper to resurrect you if you want that. However,
how many people use spell components?
No, I don't know. We don't. However, at higher levels, right? And there's ability you can re-roll your fail saving throw, which is fine. They're all okay. High levels, okay, 10th level, you can use your bonus action where up to 10 other creatures that hear you can get advantage on attack rolls, all attack rolls and saving throws for that turn. So you can have, if you have a 10th level party with a bunch of attacks and just get advantage, you can really burst down. It's a really cool burst ability.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And then at 14th level, this is hilarious, I think. When you're raging, having 0 hit points doesn't knock you unconscious. You can make death saving throws. So basically, you're always at 0 hit points. You can really fight for turn after turn after turn. At 0 hit and you don't die. Even if you get below 0, you don't die until your rage ends. Even if you have 0 hit points, you just like...
I think I didn't read... I think I read the first ability, so I skipped the rest of it. That's pretty good.
But that's the thing, Kyle, is that most people do tier 1 and 2 play. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He's getting a 14th level Barbarian ability. It's probably like 1 out of 1,000 games.
But what I'm saying is that's the point. Like, this is the only one that incentivizes me to play a Barbarian to 14th level.
Yeah.
And that's still like...
It's fun.
Not a good enough ability.
It's just hilarious. It's just very memey. It's a super
that
big
could be
meme.
a lower level ability. Yeah. Hot take.
Interesting.
Hot take.
Okay, so at low level, for me, this is an F, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
At, like, if you're willing to play Barbarian level 14 and only be Juggernaut, so all you do every turn is just attack, which is okay.
Sure.
I can see this just for fun, maybe being a C plus B minus. Maybe at higher levels, but then
I could give it a C+.
You'd be completely overshadowed by somebody going like Barbarian Rogue, for example, or something else that gives
Barbarian Fighter.
Yeah, giving a lot of versatility, role play, fun. Yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, this has been our takes on Barbarian and Barbarian subclasses. I hope now you can choose whatever fits you the best, or multi-class.
Do you want to tell them what we're going to do next?
Oh yeah, and this is part of a series of Barbarian stuff, and we're going to do a battle royale. Player versus player. We're going to choose our favorite subclasses and have them go head to head in a deathmatch battle arena. What?
What?
So, you want to see Barbarian fight? and see which one is really the best in combat,
we're about to do it.
Check out our video coming up. So thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this.
Leave your message in the comments down below.
And your rankings. And your rankings too,
Yes, please.
Yeah, seriously.
We'll see you next time.
All right. See you later, Warriors!